TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israeli officials confirm that a ceasefire with Hezbollah in Lebanon may be implemented in the next 12 to 24 hours. Israel's ambassador to the UN tells his Palestinian counterpart, "Once you will have the courage and the ability to say no to Hamas, no to terrorism, you can speak about future for Gaza." Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterates that anyone who delivers Israel any of the 101 hostages from Hamas captivity will receive $5 million per hostage. Following 416 days since the Iranian proxy Hezbollah had joined the Islamist Hamas in waging an unprovoked war against Israel, a U.S.-brokered cessation of hostilities is expected to be adopted. Israeli officials have told TV7 that the looming ceasefire may be implemented in the next 12 to 24 hours, so long as there are no unexpected developments, either on the battlefield or elsewhere. And while the details of the outline are kept secret, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar asserted that the success of the deal comes down to one factor.
As for Lebanon, the test for any agreement will be one, not in words or phrasing, but in enforcement only of the two main points. The first is preventing Hezbollah from moving southward beyond the Litani River, and the second, preventing Hezbollah from rebuilding its force and rearming in all of Lebanon.
It is important to explain that the implementation of a ceasefire by itself is a small victory over Hezbollah, since the Iranian proxy repeatedly pledged that it would not agree to any outline unless Israel withdraws from the Gaza Strip. However, the secrecy surrounding the details of the U.S.-brokered arrangement is failing to meet the Israeli government's declared top priority, the safe return of Israel's northern residents to their homes with a sense of security.
We are not happy with the agreement that it's going to come because the conditions in the agreement are secret. And we are very, very sad that nobody tells us what's going to be when we'll come back to Metula, which is on the border, 20, 50 meters from the border. We don't feel safe because we know there is a lot of shelters till now that the Israeli forces did not go in and destroy everything. It's there. It needs another 2 months to finish, and if we finish now, it will the weapon will stay there for the future Hezbollah people.
With over 61,000 displaced Israelis who've been asked to leave their homes by the government on October 8th of 2023, and another 30 to 40,000 civilians who had left their homes on their own volition due to unbearable living conditions of daily rocket fire by the Iranian proxy Hezbollah toward multiple communities adjacent to the border with Lebanon, time will tell whether they will agree to the return to their homes, knowing that hostilities may yet again erupt irrespective of strategic considerations to cease fire. Turning to the United Nations, where Israeli Ambassador Dani Danon revealed that the looming arrangement is expected to be implemented in stages.
So first, I expect that you will have stages. It's not going to happen overnight. There will be a few stages, few requirements. The most important condition for us is the withdrawal of Hezbollah north of the Litani. We said it from the beginning, that will be our goal in this war. Then there will be other stages in the agreement. Regarding the UN, as far as I know, the UN is not part of the agreement, but the presence of UNIFIL over there is important. And we are grateful for that. I'm in constant connection with the peacekeeping department at the UN. They are visiting the area, they are involved, they know about what's happening. And I think they have also to take advantage of this situation and make sure that the UNIFIL presence is more effective.
Ambassador Dannon's remarks were made ahead of a UN Security Council meeting on the Middle East, which focused primarily on the situation vis-à-vis the Gaza Strip, including the dire humanitarian conditions there, which the Islamist Hamas is solely responsible for, to include its repeated lootings of aid convoys alongside the deliberate targeting of Palestinian civilians who seek to secure provisions for their own families.
In one incident, on 16th of November, a UN convoy comprising of 109 trucks of food supplies was violently looted by Palestinians, with 97 trucks lost. On 18th of November, over 20 people were reportedly killed by armed Palestinians in an operation said to be led by the Gaza Ministry of Interior to target looters of humanitarian aid.
During the Security Council's roundtable deliberations, respective political narratives obscured the true reality on the ground, with the Palestinian observer lashing out at the Israeli ambassador, proclaiming that the Palestinian people would never surrender in their fight against Israel.
Surrender is not an option. Keep dreaming. Surrender will never be an option. Freedom will not be surrendering. The Palestinian people will not surrender. We will continue our struggle for freedom and to put an end to this illegal occupation, as the International Court of Justice has articulated.
It is important to stress that the Palestinian Authority, which is controlled by the Fatah faction, regards the Islamist Hamas an enemy, since the latter perpetrated a violent coup in the Gaza Strip which resulted in deep-rooted blood feuds between separate clans and families. And while Fatah, headed by the so-called Palestinian president Mahmoud Abbas, sought to reconcile with Hamas on multiple occasions, the last time a Palestinian prime minister visited the Gaza Strip, namely Rami Hamdallah on March 13th of 2018, his convoy was targeted by a roadside bomb in what Fatah officials labeled a failed assassination attempt by Hamas. Nevertheless, despite the deep-rooted animosity between Hamas and Fatah, since the Islamist terror group perpetrated the October 7th atrocities against Israelis that prompted the year-long war versus Hamas in the Gaza Strip, Fatah has repeatedly exploited the hostilities for its own interest-driven benefits, essentially adopting Hamas's narrative vis-à-vis the Gaza Strip.
Once you will have the courage and the ability to say no to Hamas, no to terrorism, you can speak about future for Gaza, you can speak about future of the Palestinians. That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking your position, but I'm telling you that if you want to move forward, you have to say no to Hamas and yes for cooperation.
Meanwhile, 101 hostages are being held captive by Hamas over the course of the past 470 days in the Gaza Strip. And while the Islamist terror group has voiced unwillingness to release the hostages unless Israel succumbs to its delusional demands of accepting defeat, Hamas is also using the hostages to conduct its own psychological warfare, deliberately committing crimes against humanity.
The Hamas terrorist organization released documentation that purportedly shows the body of one of our female hostages. We are checking the information which, at this stage, cannot be verified. We are in contact with the family, and an appropriate statement has been issued to all the families. Our hearts are with them. I just spoke with the mother. It is difficult to describe the nightmare she has been enduring. We embrace her. We embrace the family. We are committed to doing everything to bring back all of the hostages, both the living and the deceased, of course. We are constantly working toward this sacred goal, including both yesterday and today. We are trying to exhaust every opportunity, every crack, every opening, and I will not go into details.
Prime Minister Netanyahu went on to reiterate Jerusalem's pledge to grant any Gazan or anyone else willing to deliver any of the hostages to Israel a reward of $5 million per hostage.
אמרתי בשבוע שעבר כשביקרתי את כוחותינו בעזה,
I said last week as I visited our forces in Gaza, and I reiterate today, whoever dares to harm the lives of our hostages will pay the price. I also said, and I repeat, whoever brings a hostage alive out of Gaza will receive $5 million. Others who bring valuable information will also be compensated. I appeal to the residents of Gaza. You can choose life and ensure your future and that of your families, or you can cling to death and destruction. The choice is yours. Choose life.
ההחלטה בידכם. תבחרו בחיים.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Moreover, if you're blessed by our productions, which are exclusively donation-based, and as such broadcasts free of charge, please consider making a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we will see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.